Today, I want to discuss with you how alienation, hostility arise and what can you do about this. This would be between poor and the rich, educated and the uneducated, between two races, siblings in the same family, between husband and wife. In different situations, how hostilities arise, and we know when alienation, enmity arises, education does not matter. Both the educated and the uneducated behave in the same uncivilized way during a conflict. So I want to read you a passage that gives us understanding. Yet he now reconciled you in his body. Why was reconciliation necessary? Although you were formerly alienated and hostile in mind, engaged in evil deeds. This is the sad thing. Even close friends can get alienated, husband and wife can get alienated, siblings in the same family can get alienated. We have a famous story in the Bible where there was a father and one son said, "Give to me what that comes to me," the younger son said. Father perhaps knew that he is not ready to handle such a large inheritance, but he was so insistent and he had come of age. Father had no way to prevent it, so he allowed the son to move with his intentions. Then a few weeks later he says, "I want to go far away." Father perhaps thought, okay, I give him his share of the estate, his older brother will be on one side, he will be on another side, he wants to operate his side himself, but he will get my advice. No, he sells up everything and goes far away, and in a little time he wastes the whole lot and he comes back. Of course there was a reconciling father, whereas the sibling, the older brother, had said, "This useless son of yours," that's the language he used, "who has wasted the inheritance in immoral living," and he seems to have found out everything about the brother and perhaps didn't want the brother to come anywhere near back, but father takes him back. So this behavior of alienation, hostility in mind, and getting into evil deeds. My suggestion is, when professionals also want to do evil deeds, using their professional knowledge, they go ahead and do it. Though we blame politicians in the corporate and in professions, evil deeds happen. Oppression happens, unfair advantage is taken. So this is not a matter of education, there is more a matter of the heart than of the brain. Many people may not like to agree to this, because living in a struggle for existence, thinking the fittest must survive, how do we expect morals to improve if fittest survives? Anything goes, isn't it? So we believe things and teach that to our generations to come, and we think the outcome will be better. Outcome hasn't become better. We have only become brainier in how we defraud each other. That's the story between nations. That's the story between classes in a given nation. That's the story between neighbors, and that's the story even between relatives. So we need a better way of living. So we are now told, through him reconcile all things to himself, peace through the blood of the cross. So Jesus brought peace by removing our inside hostilities. Therefore, we will be able to relate to others without hostility. Otherwise, our inside disgruntlement, dissatisfaction, discontentment becomes dyspathy in our outside relationships. So my humble plea is, consider this truth, that more brain, more education, more research, more intellect will not make us better. But a better heart, deeper heart, empathy that God gives, Good Shepherd in our heart, promises to remove alienation, remove hostility of mind. Here is another passage I like to use. Having cancelled out the certificate of debt consisting of decrees against us. This is Colossians 2:14. So there are decrees of hostility working in us about our mishaps. What we are dissatisfied with, we throw on others with our words, with our reactions. So here is the solution: cancelling this debt of demand in us against us, which was hostile to us. Hostility is within. We practice in our words, we practice in our deeds, we practice in our thoughts. It comes out. So we have to attend on the hostilities inside us, even when races are at war, classes are at war, relatives at our war, spouses at war, parent and kids at war, generational disgruntlement. In all these things, the Word of God says, and the Good Shepherd offers cancellation of debt and removal of hostilities, because he has already taken it to the cross and nailed it. When this happens, he disarms rulers and authorities, invisible forces that affect us. We have to realize that what we say and what we do and how we think becomes a mindset and a stronghold, a thing that holds our thinking. And everything that comes from outside, what we hear comes through a filter that we have already made. What we see comes through a filter that we have already made. However good what we see may be, we have already prejudged and prejudiced, jaundiced in our eyes to see it like that. We've already altered our hearing to hear it like that. We have already altered our feeling to feel like that. So my humble plea is, there's a Good Shepherd who says that he will reconcile all contradictory factors in us that cause contradictions in our relationships. What are contradictions? Outcomes that we don't want to have, but yet we indulge in practices and ways that such outcomes will happen. Shall we give a